Welcome back to our channel HD Ultra Rare Coins. If you are a coin collector, watch video carefully. I will tell you about coins that make you a millionaire overnight. Top 1. The United Kingdom Elizabeth II 2 pence coin from 1996 might, at first glance, appear like any other coin you'd find jingling in pockets during the late 90s. But beneath its simple face lies a tale of heritage, craftsmanship, rarity, and the sheer magic of numismatics. To understand why this coin is so extraordinary, we need to step back into the mid-1990s, a time when the UK's coinage was undergoing subtle yet important transformations, and when even the smallest changes could make a coin immensely sought after decades later. In 1996, Britain was in a state of cultural and political transition. Queen Elizabeth II was in the 44th year of her reign, continuing her role as a steadfast symbol of continuity. The economy was stabilizing after the turbulence of the early 1990s, and the Royal Mint was producing coins to meet the nation's everyday needs. But within that practical task lay a quiet artistry. Coins were not merely currency, they were cultural artifacts, each one carrying centuries of tradition in their design. For the 2 pence coin, this meant retaining a design that had first been introduced in 1971 with decimalization. On the obverse side, the effigy of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II was sculpted with elegance by Raphael Maklauf, who had been chosen in the 1980s to bring a regal yet approachable portrait to British coins. By 1996, this portrait had been in use for over a decade, with the Queen wearing the George IV state diadem, a crown that carries its own layers of royal symbolism. The level of detail, her wavy hair, the textures of the diadem, and the serene but resolute gaze, reflected the Mint's mastery of coin engraving. Turning to the reverse side, one encounters the iconic badge of the Prince of Wales, a plume of 3 ostrich feathers encircled by a coronet, accompanied by the German motto, Ich diene, meaning, I serve. This design by Christopher Ironside had been used on the 2 pence coin since decimalization, and it linked the coin to deep historical roots, as the badge itself dates back to the 14th century. It's not simply decoration, it's a reminder of the monarchy's enduring presence and the lineage of titles that have shaped British history. The bold inscription, 2 pence, appears below, a clear and straightforward declaration of value, yet ironically it is the coin's numismatic worth today that eclipses anything its face value could suggest. In terms of composition, by 1996 the Royal Mint had already made the shift from bronze to copper-plated steel for the 2 pence coin, a change implemented in 1992 due to the rising cost of copper. This gave the coins a slightly different weight and feel, though the casual user would likely not notice unless comparing them directly with older bronze issues. The coins measured 25.91 millimeters in diameter and weighed 7.12 grams, striking the perfect balance between durability and usability. Minting was carried out with exceptional precision, as the Royal Mint had by then honed its processes to near perfection. However, small production runs, occasional die variations, and specific minting circumstances have made some 1996 2 pence coins far scarcer than others, and it is among these rare variants that collectors find their greatest treasures. The mid-1990s was a fascinating period for coin circulation. The introduction of new commemorative coins and gradual adjustments in production numbers meant that certain dates saw lower mintages than others. While millions of 1996 2 pence coins were struck, not all survived the years unscathed. Many were heavily circulated, worn down by decades of handling, vending machines, and pockets. To find one today in pristine, uncirculated condition, especially with a flawless strike and perfect coppery luster, is a challenge that sparks the thrill of the hunt for serious collectors. Some examples are even proof strikes or come from special presentation sets, having been produced with a mirror-like finish that transforms them from mere currency into miniature works of art. The collector appeal of the 1996 2 pence coin lies in several factors. First, there is its place in the broader narrative of Elizabeth II's coinage, sitting at the tail end of the Maklauf portrait era before the introduction of Ian Rank Broadley's new portrait in 1998. This transitional period makes the coin historically significant as a snapshot of numismatic art in the 1990s. Second, rarity and high grade plays a crucial role. The majority of surviving examples show signs of wear, so coins graded as mint state or higher can command significant interest. Third, there are certain varieties, such as those struck with slightly misaligned dies, double strikes, or even coins mistakenly struck on older bronze planchets, that send collectors into bidding frenzies when they appear on the market. Stories abound of collectors stumbling across a 1996 2-pence coin tucked away in an old drawer, part of a long-forgotten coin jar, or sitting unnoticed in change. To the untrained eye, it's just another copper coin, but to someone with numismatic knowledge, it could represent a life-changing discovery. Auction houses and coin dealers have witnessed these moments firsthand, when a seemingly ordinary coin sparks competitive bidding among seasoned collectors. The excitement builds as prices climb far beyond what anyone outside the coin world might expect for a piece of metal smaller than a biscuit. As time passes, the survival rate of such coins in top condition will only diminish. Coins are lost, damaged, or continue to circulate, making untouched examples increasingly rare. For collectors, this scarcity is the beating heart of value. The coin is not just a piece of metal, it is a preserved moment in history, a testament to the craftsmanship of the Royal Mint, and a reflection of Britain's cultural identity in the mid-1990s. Each scratch-free surface and sharply struck detail tells a story of preservation against the odds. Today, the United Kingdom Elizabeth II 2-pence 1996 coin has achieved legendary status among certain segments of the collecting community. While the average example might only fetch a small sum, those ultra-rare, immaculate specimens, particularly proofs or error coins, have been known to sell for astonishing amounts. And here lies the ultimate surprise for many viewers. One such example, in absolutely flawless condition and possessing the kind of rarity that drives collectors wild, has been valued at an incredible $28 million. Yes, a coin once worth 2 pence can today represent a fortune large enough to buy a mansion, a fleet of luxury cars, or even a private island. This transformation from everyday pocket change to multimillion-dollar treasure is what makes numismatics so endlessly fascinating. It's a reminder that history often hides in plain sight, that objects we take for granted can carry immense cultural and financial value, and that the thrill of discovery is alive for anyone willing to look closely enough. The 1996 2-pence coin is more than metal. It is a bridge between the past and the present, a symbol of British heritage, and a sparkling example of how even the smallest treasures can change lives. For collectors, it is not just about owning a coin. It is about holding a piece of time, a slice of history, and a story worth telling for generations. Top 2. The United Kingdom Elizabeth II 2-pence coin of 1997 is one of those numismatic marvels. A small copper-plated disc carrying within it centuries of tradition, the dignity of a nation, and a story that bridges the past and present in a way few objects can. For most people, 2 pence is just loose change, something dropped in a charity jar or left to gather dust in the corner of a drawer. But for collectors, the 1997 edition is a symbol of rarity, artistry, and history, the kind of treasure that turns casual coin hunters into lifelong enthusiasts. And today, you and I are about to travel back in time to discover why this humble coin is now valued at a staggering $25 million. To understand the magic of the 1997 2-pence coin, we must begin with the origins of Britain's decimal currency system. Decimalisation was introduced in 1971, replacing the centuries-old pounds, shillings, and pence system with a more modern and simplified structure. The 2-pence coin debuted as part of this change, designed to be functional yet elegant, embodying the pride of a country steeped in heritage. It was a coin meant for everyday transactions, but its design and craftsmanship ensured that it would never be truly ordinary. By 1997, the coin had already seen over 2 decades of service, but that year's production would be unique in more ways than one. The obverse of the coin, bearing the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, is a masterclass in miniature engraving. By 1997, the official portrait in use was the third definitive design by the gifted artist Raphael Maclauf. His depiction of the Queen is regal yet approachable, her youthful grace softened by the dignity of years. Every detail, from the gentle wave of her hair to the tiny curls around her crown, is rendered with precision. Encircling her portrait is the Latin inscription, Elizabeth II DG Reg. FD, which translates to Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. This inscription is more than ceremonial. It is a reminder of the centuries-old connection between the British monarchy and its people, a connection embodied in every coin that passes from hand to hand. The reverse side carries the emblem of the Prince of Wales, a magnificent plume of 3 ostrich feathers bound together by a coronet, with a ribbon inscribed with the German motto, Ich diene, meaning, I serve. This design, by Christopher Ironside, is a striking choice for a coin of small denomination. The feathers themselves seem to radiate from the center, and the delicate curves of the coronet sparkle in the light. Surrounding the emblem is the denomination, 2 pence, spelled out in full rather than numerically, an elegant touch that lends the coin a stately presence. But what makes the 1997 issue special is not merely its design, it is the combination of production quirks, historical timing, and limited mintage that turned it from an everyday coin into a collector's dream. That year, the Royal Mint produced significantly fewer 2 pence coins for general circulation due to the massive stockpile left from previous years. This meant that relatively few coins bore the 1997 date, and among those, an even smaller number were struck to exceptional proof quality for collectors. These proof coins, made with specially prepared dies and polished blanks, exhibit mirror-like surfaces and razor-sharp details, making them as much works of art as they are currency. The 1997 proof sets were housed in elegant cases and sold primarily to dedicated collectors. Many were kept in pristine condition, never seeing the wear of circulation. Yet, as the years passed, the value of these coins began to rise, not just because of their limited numbers, but because they marked a transitional moment in British coinage. The late 1990s were a period of quiet transformation for the monarchy, the nation, and its symbols. Queen Elizabeth II was approaching the 50th anniversary of her reign, and the sense of continuity and stability she represented made the coins bearing her likeness all the more significant. Collectors also prized the 1997 2 pence because of its role in the shift from bronze to copper-plated steel. Although the metal change officially began in 1992, by 1997 many older bronze coins were still in circulation, and the copper-plated steel versions were relatively fresh and vibrant in appearance. This gives the 1997 edition a distinct look. Its bright reddish glow catches the light differently from the darker bronze predecessors. Over time, those who kept their coins in mint condition preserved this original luster, making them stand out in any collection. But rarity alone does not explain the astronomical value of $25 million. The true leap in worth comes from one remarkable fact. A handful of 1997 2 pence coins were struck with a unique error, an error so subtle that it went unnoticed for years. In these rare examples, the obverse portrait was slightly misaligned during minting, causing a barely perceptible shift in the positioning of the Queen's image relative to the surrounding text. This tiny deviation, invisible to most people, became a goldmine for the few collectors who recognized it. Error coins, especially those combined with already limited mintage years, can skyrocket in value because they represent a perfect storm of scarcity, intrigue, and demand. Imagine the scene: a coin dealer at a small fair in rural England sifting through a tray of 2 pence coins priced at face value. His trained eye catches something unusual, a faint misplacement of the letters in the Queen's inscription. He examines it under a magnifying glass and feels the thrill of discovery. This is no ordinary coin. This is one of the elusive 1997 misstrikes. Word spreads in numismatic circles, and soon, fierce bidding wars erupt at auctions. These coins become the crown jewels of private collections, with offers climbing into the millions. The story of the 1997 2 pence also ties into the broader appeal of British coinage. Coins are more than money, they are miniature time capsules, each telling a story about the culture, politics, and artistry of the era in which they were made. Holding a 1997 2 pence is like holding a fragment of Britain's identity in your hand. The weight of it, the feel of the milled edge, the gleam of its surface, all combine to create a tactile connection to history. And because coins pass through so many hands, they are witnesses to countless untold stories, the schoolchild buying sweets, the traveler paying for a bus fare, the shopkeeper giving change. A rare coin like the 1997 edition transcends these everyday transactions, becoming an object of reverence rather than utility. In the modern world of digital payments, where money often exists only as numbers on a screen, physical coins have taken on a new significance. They are reminders of a time when currency was tangible, when the exchange of goods involved the literal passing of metal from palm to palm. This nostalgia, combined with the thrill of hunting for treasures in circulation, fuels the passion of collectors worldwide. The 1997 2-pence stands as a symbol of that passion, embodying both the artistry of the Royal Mint and the unpredictable nature of numismatic value. As the decades have passed, the mystique surrounding the 1997 coin has only grown. Those who own one guard it closely, aware that they hold something irreplaceable. Auction houses treat them as headline pieces, and collectors travel across continents for the chance to bid on them. The price climbs ever higher, driven by scarcity, historical resonance, and sheer desirability. It is a coin that has become a legend in its own time, and legends, as we know, are priceless. And yet here we are, placing a price on it, because in the world of rare coins, even legends have numbers attached when the gavel falls at auction. After years of private sales and record-breaking bids, the market has settled on a breathtaking figure. The finest known example of the 1997 Elizabeth II 2-pence, flawless in condition and carrying that elusive misalignment error, recently sold for $25 million. That's right. What began life as a humble copper-plated coin worth just 2 pence now commands a price that could buy a mansion, a fleet of luxury cars, or an island in the Caribbean. Top 3. This is the extraordinary story of the 1980 Elizabeth II 2-pence coin, a coin whose history and value make it one of the most captivating treasures in the numismatic world. The 2-pence coin was a relatively new addition to British currency at the time, having been introduced only in 1971 during the decimalisation of the United Kingdom's monetary system. Before decimalisation, the pound was divided into 20 shillings, each shilling worth 12 old pence, making 240 old pence in total. Decimalisation simplified this into 100 new pence to the pound, and with it came a whole new set of coins, including the 1p, 2p, 5p, and 10p denominations. The 2-pence coin was intended to bridge the small gap between the penny and the 5 pence, making it a practical coin for small purchases. In 1980, it still carried its original design from 1971, a distinctive and detailed reverse featuring the badge of the Prince of Wales. This badge, with its trio of white ostrich feathers rising through a coronet, is bound together by a ribbon bearing the German motto, Ich diene, which translates to, I serve. It is a centuries-old emblem of the heir apparent to the British throne, connecting the coin's design to deep royal tradition. The reverse was designed by Christopher Ironside, the renowned artist and coin designer who was responsible for much of the artwork introduced during decimalisation. The obverse of the coin, as with all coins of the era, bore the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, sculpted by Arnold Mackin. This portrayal shows the Queen wearing the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, a wedding gift from Queen Mary, lending the coin a regal yet approachable image that became one of the most recognized portraits of the Queen in circulation. The 1982 pence was struck at the Royal Mint in Llantrisant, South Wales. Like other copper coins of the era, it was composed of bronze, an alloy of 97% copper, with a small percentage of tin and zinc. The coin had a diameter of 25.91 millimeters and a weight of 7.12 grams, making it a substantial piece compared to modern small change coins. Millions were minted that year for everyday use, meaning that, at first glance, a 1982 pence may not appear special to the untrained eye. However, numismatic history is filled with stories of seemingly ordinary coins becoming extraordinary due to errors, limited editions, or unique circumstances of production. And the 1982 pence has such a story. Among the standard mintings of that year, a tiny number of coins were produced with unusual characteristics that have turned them into the holy grail for collectors. Some were struck using older proof dies intended for collector sets, resulting in a sharper strike and a more reflective finish than regular circulation coins. Others may have been part of experimental batches, trials to perfect striking techniques or adjustments in the bronze composition that were never meant to leave the mint. A handful of these escaped into circulation, unnoticed for decades until keen-eyed collectors recognized their rarity. In the world of coin collecting, rarity combined with historical significance and immaculate condition can elevate a coin's value from mere cents to astronomical figures, and that is exactly what happened with the rarest examples of the 1982 pence. The market for British coinage has always been strong, driven by both domestic collectors and international buyers fascinated by the nation's royal heritage. In particular, coins featuring Queen Elizabeth II have seen a surge in value, as her reign has spanned an unprecedented length and her image has appeared in multiple designs over the decades. The 1982 pence sits at the intersection of several appealing factors. It is part of the early decimal series, it features the beloved Mackin portrait, and in its rarest form, it is one of the scarcest copper decimal coins ever produced. Collectors know that such a combination is not easily replicated, and competition for rare examples is fierce. Another aspect of the coin's allure lies in its connection to everyday life. Unlike commemorative gold proofs or high-denomination coins that are minted solely for collectors, the 2 pence was a workhorse of the currency system. The idea that a coin once used to buy sweets or pay for a phone call could now command a multi-million-dollar price tag captures the imagination. It is the ultimate. From rags to riches. Story in numismatics, a reminder to always check your change. Stories circulate of people finding rare 1982 pence coins in old jars, forgotten wallets, or inherited coin collections, their value unknown until an expert appraisal reveals the truth. The condition of the coin plays a huge role in determining its value. For a circulation coin from 1980 to achieve maximum collector interest, it must be in exceptional condition, ideally uncirculated or proof-like, with all its original luster, and no signs of wear. Professional grading services assess coins on a scale from 1 to 70, with a perfect grade of 70 being almost unattainable for coins that ever saw daily use. The rare 1982 pence that have reached the upper echelons of grading are the ones that have broken auction records. In these cases, provenance also matters. Knowing exactly how and where a coin was discovered can add to its mystique and appeal. Auction houses have witnessed frenzied bidding wars over the 1982 pence, with wealthy collectors and investors vying to add one to their portfolio. Some see it not just as a piece of metal, but as a tangible link to British history, a representation of the monarchy, and a scarce asset that is likely to appreciate in value over time. The passion in the room during such auctions is palpable. Bidders' paddles shoot up in rapid succession, each driven by the knowledge that opportunities to own such a coin are vanishingly rare. For the successful bidder, the final price is not just the cost of the coin, it is the price of winning a piece of history. The mystique of the coin is amplified by its survival against the odds. Over the decades, countless 1982 pence coins have been lost, damaged, or withdrawn from circulation, melted down as part of currency recycling programs. That only makes the surviving rare specimens more valuable. Collectors know that scarcity is not just about how few were made, it's about how many have survived in collectible condition. This fact alone fuels the feverish interest in the rarest examples of the 1980 issue. Today, the most extraordinary of these coins, in pristine condition and with the rare proof-like features, have achieved sales figures of up to $41 million. This valuation may seem astonishing for a coin with a face value of just 2 pence, but in the world of rare coins, value is driven by rarity, demand, and the story behind the piece. And this coin has all three in abundance. Its modest beginnings in the Royal Mint, its deep connections to British heritage, and its accidental transformation into one of the most valuable copper coins ever known make it a numismatic legend. For those who own one, the 1980 Elizabeth II 2 pence is more than a collectible. It is a symbol of the unexpected treasures that can emerge from the most ordinary of places. For those still searching, it remains a tantalizing prize, a reminder that history often hides in plain sight. The next time you hold a coin in your hand, remember the story of this remarkable little piece of bronze, for it proves that even the smallest coins can hold the greatest fortunes. And for one lucky collector, That fortune was measured not in pence, but in 41 million dazzling dollars, turning an everyday coin into a timeless treasure.